Hello and welcome to my next Let's Play. This is BioEnchanted, and today I'll be doing a Let's Play of a game based off a movie that I thought was okay, although a little memorable, but the game is much better than the movie was. That game being, of course, by a somewhat questionable studio name, but otherwise a really good game, the Spiderwick Chronicles. This is a game that takes what the movie did and expands upon it immensely. It really gives the world a chance to breathe that the short length of the movie didn't have a chance to do. But we'll look into that. I quite like the music on this title screen, and the title screen itself, showing all the life buzzing around the house, that kind of thing. It's a neat first look at the world we're about to explore. Besides, let's play out because I never had let it before, but now it's going to the attract mode, so let's just skip past that and start the new game properly, shall we? Yeah, weirdly, I had to skip a few of the earlier titles, because the first few company title thingies, title cards, are actually sounds any kind of sound, and it's very strange. Let's go into the opening cutscene now, and get the setup, shall we?
My name is Arthur Spiderwick. Many years ago, I discovered an unseen world in the woods around my home. Fascinated, I began to study and document the magical creatures, both friendly and less so. Little did I know that my efforts, contained in this field guide, would be my very undoing. Years later, my niece, Helen Grace, moved to the estate after a bitter separation. She unwittingly brought her children into a world both fantastical and dangerous. Hopefully, they would not suffer the same fate that befell me and my precious daughter Lucy. There was Mallory, tough, strong, independent, and the twins, gentle Simon, who inherited my love of animals and mechanics, and Jared, who was angry over his father's betrayal. He got my brash tendency to act before thinking, and my insatiable curiosity.
So there's the introduction to what the characters' archetypes are. The first character we're playing as is Jared.
No way I'm going to bed in this creepy house without checking it out first.
Jared's a bit of a brat, but is otherwise interesting to control.
I wish you were here.
But we won't really be able to get into that until we get to the meat of the game. This is all introductory stuff.
I'm not hungry.
One thing I quite like is that every character has their own set of things to say about all the objects you can find. I mean, you can't really do much yet with any of them, because we have no reason to grab them. It's avoids the whole
Not a care in the world.
problem with inventories with, oh, why is he carrying all this stuff on him
This
for no
place
reason?
is creepy. I kinda like it. Have you been up to the tower? It's cool.
But yeah, it kind of, it prevents that whole inventory clutter issue
Old
of,
lengths of pipe.
why would you be grabbing an old pipe? You know, things like that, things that are obviously going to be used later, like, but aren't needed yet by the characters, so they're not going to bother with them. There is one exception though that I find really funny, but let's just explore the house a little bit first, shall we? One thing I quite like is that it resists what a lot of games don't manage to resist, which
These
is
shelves seem out of place.
over-exaggeration of certain locations. For example, in a lot of games like, say, the Harry Potter games, for example, some of the locations are impossibly big in a stupid kind of way. But there's nothing like that here. This house is just a house. It's just the focal point for the whole story. So it doesn't need to be any more big or impressive than it is.
What the? It's intelligent.
So let's try and find where that sound's going to, shall we? While also being introduced to our notebook, which is of course where most of our menus are, including telling us what we need to do. There's the major quest things on the left that show what the quests are. Then on the right you have the thing that says what each step of each quest is. So kind of a breakdown. As you can see, we have our health on the top left, the 3 leaves. I quite like the aesthetic to this game, because it's all very autumnal.
The wall. Something's in there.
Like, everything about this game just screams autumn, from the colours of the leaves on all the menus and everything like that, and in the health, even though it's a fairly dull green. Generally, it's a game that feels very autumn, and I quite like that. Here we're taking a look at a few key aspects of the controls, because of course the game tells us how to do certain basic combos, but of course that's because there are some attacks that we'll unlock as we go that are a little trickier, but also here it's telling us what we need to do. If you get a bit lost, that'll be very helpful, being able to, for example, know that the thing we need is up in the tower. So let's let that wall growl at us for a while we go find a way to break it open, shall we? I like the look of the house. It's very run down but still quite majestic. Quite the definition of a fixer-upper. But yeah, if the characters don't need something at any particular moment, they won't grab it, which is a good way of remembering where things are as well, otherwise you can kind of lose track of what you have and what you don't. This is the exception I mentioned, by the way.
I could bust open that kitchen wall with this.
You see, I came up here
What was
first,
Arthur watching with this?
and grabbed that first, before he even knew he had to break through a wall, so in my first playthrough of this game, Jared just broke that broom for no reason. He was just a destructive little idiot, and that's kind of amazing. Here's me just showing off some of the basic attacks we have, a 2-hit combo. And of course we're just double checking for other things as well. The evade is kind of like a little dodge move they do where they kind of dive a little bit. I did that earlier but forgot to mention it. The counter-attack is something we use with the evade. We dodge something and then attack, and this is our charge attack. He spins around like an idiot with his stick and just kind of whirlwinds everything to death. But there isn't anything to whirlwind yet, so let's just take care of this wall, shall we?
Aha.
Very satisfying noise, I like that.
A dumbwaiter. It looks like something's been living inside. Wonder if I could fit.
Yeah, you can tell he's adventurous because it's the first day in a new house and he just ripped the whole wall down with the stick he first broke. He's destroying this house with no property value just existing in it.
Whoa, a hidden room. I wonder what Uncle Arthur was doing in here.
There are a ton of objects in this room that will eventually come into use. Not yet, but there's a lot of little blue things scattered around. A lot of little blue eye icons. But the thing we really need, as you saw there, is a chest key.
I wonder what I could catch with this.
Not much use. A lot of these items aren't much use yet, but the key's over here.
This must open the chest in the top of the tower.
That is a terrible poem. Whoever wrote that was a bit of an idiot.
Interesting.
There's a lot of little nooks and crannies, there's a lot of little items that we can't grab yet, or can't do much with. But I quite like that, like there's a lot of visual stuff to this game. One thing I quite like in general with it
Interesting.
is that every area is split into multiple distinct visual areas. So it's not just like, for example,
Something is blocking it on the other side.
an area wouldn't just be a single
I bet
thing.
Mallory could use that.
Like-
Too bad it's locked up.
You go to a forest, instead of just a big maze of trees, it would have like a bunch of little parts of it that you'd be exploring, that kind of thing, and that's pretty cool. In the same way that this house has multiple different rooms and floors, every area in this game has multiple little sections to it to explore that help differentiate where you are with where you need to be. And that is very well designed. I quite like that, because it means you never really get lost. You always know exactly where you're going. I quite like the way he just falls on the dumbwaiter. That's a really funny animation. He doesn't even bother taking the thing down.
Ah! I need something stronger than a broomstick.
But let's finally unlock that chest, shall we? So finally, it's been like 10 minutes, but yeah.
It fits!
I like this game's music, it's really nice.
Inside was an old, crumbling book. Arthur Spiderwick's Field Guide to the Fantastical World Around You. Jared read through the night and realized the house had a boggart. If he earned the boggart's trust and friendship, it would turn into a loyal brownie. But until then, the boggart would cause nothing but trouble.
So here's our first real quest. We have a boggart infestation, which we need to try and calm down to turn him into a brownie. Otherwise he'll just keep causing problems. Of course he won't, this is all very scripted here, but yeah. He won't actually do anything. He just kind of hangs out, but we just need to get what we need. But here we have some useful things that we can't get the ingredients for yet. Like, it tells us what these items around the house are used for, and I quite like that. You still can't grab the stuff yet, but you know what it will be in the future, and that's very good foreshadowing for when you see certain items and go, okay, I won't need this yet, but remember it's here. And given how unique all the areas in this game are, especially within this house,
I gotta find a house to replace the one I busted up in the dumbwaiter.
It's very easy to actually find stuff. For example, this cracker.
Simon won't miss one of these.
We don't technically need some of these items quite yet, but we know we'll eventually need them, so he's able to actually pick them up now. Like, he's not ready to tame the boggart yet, but because even the instruction thing in the book doesn't actually say to do that yet. It just says find some items to do the job. Let's grab a bag, that sounds really useful. Mum's room is not that one, that's Mallory's room. Mum's room is here. And there's our bat.
This is what I need.
There's our first one of the weapon upgrades in this game. Every character has multiple weapons, but the upgrade system is incredibly tiny and incredibly linear. You just kind of find the items in sequence as you go through the game, and some of them are optional, some of them aren't, I believe. I think some of them are optional, but of course we're going to get them all anyway. We're going to 100% this game. I've done it before. It's not that bad to do. But here we are, finally, taking a step outside for some fresh air. And this is what I mean by each area having its own distinct kind of character to it. For example, the front garden isn't just the garden, it's the house. This large shed over here. These bird houses over here. This little, like, thing on the right that we just passed. There's a lot of variety looking around here that you...
Maybe I can find one that isn't mounted.
It basically means that we'll never really get lost in this game, because everything is so visually distinct that there's really no worry about doing that. You just need to know which landmarks you're looking for.
This would make a perfect home for the brownie.
Yes, a perfect home for the brownie. That's how you say that word, Jared. Well done. I mean, I'm sure we could use our bat to take down the birdhouses, but we're not that destructive. We only destroy the walls in the house. Speaking of, we have another wall in the house to destroy, so let's get on that, shall we? Because Jared is just kind of a punk. of course, first of all, we need to pick up this honey.
This'll go nicely on my cracker. Huh, oatmeal. Microwave is easier.
Something I forgot to show off is he pronounces certain things very weirdly, not just perfect, but when you examine the wall of tomato jars that are that thing next to the dumbwaiter, he calls them maters. Which is just strange, although it's just a card thing.
Ah, the study.
And there we are, now we have a shortcut after doing some mild vandalism. Then again, though, technically we're only restoring the house to its former glory, so no harm, no foul. So let's find where the bucket is, shall we? The only place big enough for the birdhouse.
Okay, hope this makes up for the home I busted in the dumbwaiter earlier.
So now let's lure the bucket into the house, shall we? With our honey cracker.
Now what?
Stolen? Oh, you foolish boy!
I'm sorry.
Must protect the book. Keep it safe from the ogre. I put a note right on the cover. Can't you read?
Ogre? What are you talking about? Wait, maybe this will make you happy.
I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. I'm not falling for that. Oh, my, that is so good.
Whoa.
Thimbletack likes his new house well, but that's not what he's come to tell.
Now what's this about an ogre?
Mulgarath the ogre wants the field guide. His goblins will take it from your dead hide.
Goblins? What?
Thimbletack now will help you see. There's more to observe than little me.
I'm not quite certain what Thimbletack meant when he was just ranting about something being stolen just then. It may have been just that he's mad that we took the book and now it's no longer safe, but it just seems a bit oddly timed, that particular line, but we're just going to do a little look around at Thimbletack before the video ends, because I want to show off this little thing. His house! As you can see,
a little decor. Still too bad there isn't more.
As you can see, the key is decorating his house, but we'll get more stuff for him later. That's one of our side quests, is decorating his house. So next time we'll explore as Thimbletack and get the item he promised us. Goodbye.